everybody. This is Andy Chan. It's the evening of June 22nd. I wanted to create a follow-up video to one I just created, I guess, early this morning about some of the results I found of my study in Rukhsati. And I apologize. I was told my pronunciation is really brutal. Hopefully, I'll get that right fairly soon. The reason for this follow-up video is the fact that I was thinking about it this afternoon, and I wasn't very happy with some of the steps that I had skipped over because if you look at the spreadsheet, you'll see a lot of data here. So I'll just kind of navigate back and forth. Each row is an individual uh, ID appeal, and each row is essentially the summarization of one of the PDF files. So I was on this spreadsheet a lot, and I kept going back and forth because the first pass I realized, oh, I should look at this particular attribute. Operating that attribute, I realized, oh, maybe I should also look at this other attribute. So that's why you have so many different columns here. So I started bringing in data one of two ways. So this data here, for example, the link and the name, so on and so on, that's just a prompt inside the Notebook LM AI tool. So for example, this link, if I just copy this, I should make it a little bigger actually, but I think you get the drift. So I copy this. It'll take you right to the ID appeal. So so then I know it's nice to have that cross reference. Then I know I don't have a hallucination. I can start checking some the details. So the information you see here, again, that's just an extraction. I used AI and I got it to extract that piece of information. I think about my second pass. I realized, you know what? I should look at the sex of the appellant, the age of the appellant, and whether the appellant was in a previous marriage or not. And same with the applicant, too. As I was bringing that in, so one of the comments I remember one of the visa officers said for one of the files was that visa officer said it was unusual for a woman to marry a younger man. And one of the applicants said, "Well, I mean, this is my second marriage, so it shouldn't really matter." Um, so I found that argument really interesting. So that's why I started to bring in the sex, the age, and whether they're in a previous relationship for each person. Over here, I found that there were a lot of appeals, a lot of successful appeals for older couples. And I realized, well, maybe it's just one of the people is older than the other. There's a couple of cases where there was, I think, a 27-year age difference. Yeah, over here, and one of them was successful actually. This is 28. I think this was dismissed. Oh no, this was allowed. Okay, so there's a 28, and I think another 27. So 28-year age difference between the appellant and the applicant. So again, just to summarize, up to now, a lot of this data was from AI. It's just an extraction. Let me show you this now. So as I was reading through it, I realized I needed slightly more details. So, for example, over here, you will see something like this. So what I did here was, and you'll see this, see this type of a text. I realized that the AI tool was summarizing a little too much, and I wanted the original details. So what I did in this case was the following. I went into the URL, and I think this is the same one, right? Got it, yeah. So what I did is I started reading through it. And so when I say it's really important that you read through every single file, That's the only way I'm going to pick up this information. So uh, some of these files are uh, written up very conveniently, and that the ID member, he or she summarized it like this. For example, the ID member summarized the reason why the original spousal application was refused, and I wanted this detail. So what I was doing, I was copying this block of text into my spreadsheet. So that's what you see in some cases. You'll see this block of text. So I just wanted to get a better details of the original argument why it was refused. Okay, so that's this field. I also have the original blocks of text of why the ID member decided whatever direction, whether it's allowed or dismissed. So I put that over here. I also put in the argument by the appellant um, over here. So I'm sorry that I should align this a little better. I have to admit that. I also put in the arguments by the appellate in the hearing. Their explanation of if there was a if they didn't have the ceremony, if there's a long time delay, or if the photos were the photos didn't really show like a big ceremony. I wanted to show their argument in this field. So I wanted to see the details of all these pieces of information. Okay, so that's the explanation of these fields. And you'll see that you'll see like a weird formula. Well, that's because I pulled that in at a later time and I brought it into one of these other spreadsheets, and that's how I merged everything together. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to give a better idea of how I came about all these different fields. So again, this is the URL back to the file. I wanted to see how much time was spent. When I was looking at another study, like I guess it was last year, it was important to I wanted to it was important for that study to understand how much time was actually spent together. In this case, I didn't it didn't seem to be as important because a lot of these marriages were arranged by the family. So they didn't really. So in some cases, they only spoke over the phone a few weeks before they decided to get married, and it's part of that culture, and it's been accepted by the Canadian government. If it's legal in that country, it would be legal in Canada, with some exceptions. Oh, speaking of which, one of the exceptions was one of the reasons why many of the applications were refused was because they had the first ceremony, and I don't know if I can pronounce this properly. The first ceremony was done by proxy. So what was the other ceremony? The Nikanama. I probably mispronounced that too. But in some cases, that ceremony was performed in proxy. So that was one of the reasons why the application was refused, um, uh, and which led to the ID of appeal. Um, so there's that. So I'm kind of trying not to ramble on too much. And so let me show you down here. Okay, I'll take off these two filters now. Filter. Okay, so that's all the data. And then down here, I started looking at, I just used some formulas to determine of these files, um, how many had for example, a negative comment by the visa officer when they was originally refused about the Rukhsati, whether it was not performed or there's a long time delay, or whether there's something wrong with the ceremony. They didn't think it was like a proper ceremony. So there's a negative comment there. That's how that the number came about. So of all the files, 70 odd files, 65 of them had a negative comment. And of the 65, 26 were successfully appealed and 39 were dismissed. So that's how I got that number. So, anyways, yeah, I just wanted to add some more details to how I came about the spreadsheet because I kind of jumped ahead because I wanted to keep that other video short. But I realized, I was missing quite a bit of color as to how I came about all these fields. So, some of them were like a summarization from AI, and some of it was me going in to every single file and copying and pasting some of the details in because AI was summarizing the information a little too much, and I wanted to see the arguments of the visa officer, the argument of the appellant, and finally the reasoning by the ID member. So I wanted to bring all those pieces in. Thank you so much for paying attention. If you're I got quite a few compliments on LinkedIn, which I'm quite pleased about, and I really enjoy doing this. Learning is one of the remaining joys of life that I have. So, before a few months ago, I had no idea how elaborate like the whole these wedding ceremonies were. So I learned quite a bit through this process. It just unfortunately it took me a lot longer to get to this point than I had expected. So, anyways, thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, please reach out and I'll try my best to answer you. I've got another idea. Because I love ID appeals and specifically I love spousal appeals. I've got another idea for another study. A quick glimpse. I don't think I have enough data, but I'm going to see how it goes and I'll see if I can come up with some sort of trend, hopefully, and I'll get started on that pretty soon. Okay, thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Bye.